your local chapter that officiates with you for, as well as anything here that I bring up. I may yield to Joe or one of the guys here on about these things, and they can correct me if I say something incorrect here. So one thing about officiating that, and having done it so long, it was gratifying to see how many coaches that I've actually worked for that were, actually on this table. It was really an honor for me to be able to see these guys and have that privilege to have worked them over the years. And I've got to give you something that one of them told me one night on the sidelines. I won't really say which coach it was, but he said, you officials are just the opposite of sex. And I said, and he always called me feces. And I said, Coach, what are you talking about? He said, even the best one of you guys is horrible. So anyway, the thing that kind of just briefly on this, I'm kind of abridging the abridged versions again. So for 2018, we're back to being fashion police as officials. So your pants, they've got to cover the knees, and they've got to cover the knee pad. You have to have a knee pad in the pant, and it's got to cover the knee. There's in the rule book. You can go on to NCAApublications.com and the actual and download the rule book free if you want to. It's on there, and there's some pictures of acceptable pant wear and so forth on that. The other thing they want you to do is we're going to cut out this T-shirt stuff hanging out. They want those tucked in, and no more exposed belly. So you can't have a belly exposure on that from the uniform standpoint. You got to go, same thing from last year. You guys be careful of your jerseys because the numbers themselves have to be clearly in distinct contrast with the color of the jerseys. And that's irrespective of any kind of border color that might be on the side of the numbers. I think in 2020, if I'm not mistaken, Joe, wasn't it, the anticipation of UIL exceptions to the rule is they're going to want a white jersey with a dark number, and they're going to want a dark colored jersey with a white number. So how that gets into play will be soon to be seen, but just I would check your, before you order uniforms, where you're going to be by in 2 years. So, all right. Some of the first thing that I wanted to touch base on is the play clock. And this is going to be, something that you have to contend with. After a touchdown, prior to the try for point, as soon as the referee gives the signal for touchdown, they're going to start the 40-second clock. There will be no more referee standing out in the middle of you waiting for you to get out of your huddle that's on the sidelines on about the 20-yard line, breaking your huddle and getting out there. The minute that touchdown signal comes up, you've got 40 seconds to get your try in. Okay? So that's going to be the same. And the thing that I want to warn you about, if you want to position the ball, so you want to put that ball on the hash, and you've got that in your playbook for certain situations, or if you want it every time on a hash, you need to do and tell those guys in pregame, hey guys, I'm going to want this. There's going to be a time after a touch, and I may give you a notice. I want that. You got to give it to them right then, because that's going to be in the transition of the 40-second clock that's running. They're going to have to do it and get it for you. So you got to let them know, give them a heads up that you're going to give them a signal or something right away so that you can get that ball repositioned. You still can at any time. If they can't get it or don't want to do it for you at that time, you have to call a timeout in order to get the ball repositioned, okay? The same thing will happen after a kickoff. The minute the kickoff, the ball is declared dead after a kickoff, the 40-second clock's going to start. The thing that I'm worried about a little bit about, and I don't know, Joe, if y'all talked a little bit about this in any of the clinic scenarios, that theoretically you're going to get, by definition of what a huddle is you need 2 players or more that are on the field in what's considered a huddle. So if you're all got your 15 guys on the field to play, It says after the ball is made ready for play and you break that huddle with excessive numbers of 11, by rule, some guys could call that a foul. I don't think we're going to see it, but I did have that years ago when that first came into play. A guy I was in a playoff game with did it because Stephenville had 40 guys in a huddle on a hash mark and broke with it, and he gave him a foul for excessive numbers. So he didn't. We never worked Stephenville again. Just a reminder that after that touchdown and after the kickoff, there's not going to be a referee standing out there giving you a ready for play signal. So you're going to have to get out there. The next big rule is going to be on the kickoffs, on free kicks. You can fair catch the ball inside the 25-yard line, right? And the ball will be placed on the 25-yard line. You fair catch the ball on the 2, the ball will be placed on the 25-yard. You know, that's been the event that if a free kick is probably, they still consider that one of the most dangerous plays in football is on kickoffs. More injuries probably occurred than anything else, so they're trying to eliminate that. Let me think here. Oh, there's another scenario on at the end of the game. If you are ahead by 1 or 2 points, NCAA rule says that you do not have to take do a try. UIL, though, however, has an exception that if the positive points are in effect for that game, you must do a try. Okay? Now, if B doesn't want to come out, say and defend it, then all they have to do is acknowledge they're not going to defend it. You get 2 points added to your score. And that applies also for any type of in extra periods, say in overtime scenarios. So that's going to come that way. One quick thing on a field goal. It used to be that if you had a penalty during a successful try by the defense, you either had to take the points off the board and accept that penalty at that preceding spot, and you could replay the down, basically. And if you took the points, then the penalty was declined. If, in fact, you decide now that especially if it's a personal foul or in this case, it's a personal foul or a unsportsmanlike act, you can keep the points on there, and they can be then enforce that penalty on the kickoff, succeeding spot on there, which would be the kickoff spot. Okay. This is a crazy one, but I think it's to me it's about the fairest thing they're going to be able to do, I guess, as an official, because you can't ever do. We have a bench clearing scenario where both teams are out in the middle of the field or on the sideline, and we have what a big scrum scenario on there. We formerly were supposed to try to take numbers and figure out who was first on the field or whatever. If it gets to that type of situation, the referee will have the discretion of giving every player on both teams an unsportsmanlike foul. They won't assess any type of yardage for those penalties. They still will, in the event that they feel like they've got guys that did personal fouls and things of that nature. But that just gives it the scenario that everyone now has got an unsportsmanlike, and they do another unsportsmanlike, it'll count for their second one in an ejection. And I think with the advent of those going into effect, so the Legislative Council just ruled that a player that will be ejected will now be out the first half of the next game, okay? The blocking rules they're getting closer and closer, but they just won't pull the trigger on it for blocking below the waist. You 5 fat guys, they're still okay. Inside the tackle box, you can block in any direction and so forth without worrying about being in a 10 or 2 or side blocks are legal, clips the whole scenario. as long as the ball stays inside that tackle box. Okay? The thing that's going to change is those upbacks that are in the tackle box and stationary will have to block 10 and 2. Whereas before they could, if they were in the stationary inside the tackle box as a back, they could do a side block. They can no longer do that. They have to hit in the front 10 and 2, okay? They can be below the waist, but it has to be a 10 and 2. One of the bad parts about, and they put this in there from last year, so as long as the ball has left the zone, your 5 fat guys, if they roll back and block below the waist, even if it's 10 and 2, back towards their goal line, excuse me, then that's a foul for them. The main concern that I've got now is that you guys are going to have to watch. Once a player, now it doesn't matter where the ball is, doesn't matter where he started, doesn't matter if he was in the tackle box or not. Once a player is 5 yards beyond where the ball was snapped, there's no blocking below the waist, period. It doesn't matter, like 10 and 2 or nothing. It would be the same as if you had a transition from a turnover play where the ball goes over an interception, same as a punt, any type of scrimmage kick, no blocking below the waist, if those players are 5 yards beyond where the ball was snapped. Okay?
Hey, Bill, I got a question. There's coverage there, but how about on screen? You can't throw your bodies on screen?
Okay, say again on screen as to who?
The lineman relays, not enough. You throw your body, you got to cut block.
If you throw your body below the waist, yeah, if they're 5 yards in advance, they can't block below the waist, period. No one from outside, no player from outside the tackle box can come back still and block below the waist towards the ball. Okay? Going out, if you're 10 and 2, you're okay, and inside 5 yards. Does that make sense? Okay. Have I contradicted anything yet? All right. I think that's basically kind of it in a nutshell for us. So if there's any questions, Joe will be around. You can ask him what the ruling is. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Fetchy. Appreciate it. We're going to go ahead and, before we move on to our last panel, we're going to go ahead and do our grand prize giveaway. Before we do that, Jimbo Emerson, he wants to come up. And you don't want to come up? All right. I thought you did. Okay. You know, Jimbo can give you some details to the winner of the grand prize here. You have the sheet? Is this to Lake Amistad, Devil's Cove?
At Martinez Family Practice, they offer health care and are right now accepting primary care patients. Right now, they are giving athletes the chance to get in their sports physicals at just $20. Angelica Martinez and the Martinez Family Practice in Eagle Pass.
If you just graduated high school, are looking to change careers, or to upgrade your job skills, Texas Southmost College is the place to start. With over 50 certificates and associate degrees to choose from, TSC has the career for you. At TSC, you get a quality education that's close to home. Earn a certificate or an associate degree and get the education you need for today and tomorrow's job market.
Wouldn't you like to be in demand?
Register now at Texas Southmost College.
The Harlingen Downtown District has a bit of everything, my friends, and here's an invitation for you to visit and experience a friendly environment with a taste of local business and a variety of shopping, dining, and entertainment throughout the year. Vintage shops loaded with collectibles from the past, dining that caters to all, boutiques, quilting, salons, live entertainment, and don't forget about market days on the first Saturday of each month on Jackson Street and Art Night the last Friday of the month. It's the Harlingen Downtown District, and the invitation is for you. Shop Downtown Harlingen today.
It's taken off. He's really done a great job with it. And what he told me last night, hey, man, I followed the Dos Amigos model, man. So Brent's a great friend. He's a great coach, and I'm going to have him say a few words. Brent Blackman.
Appreciate it, guys. This is my third year to have a clinic. This year it's going to be on the island, South Padre Island. and I modeled it after Oki's deal. This guy right here was money. So what he does with what we're going to be very laid back, got great speakers, a lot of beer drinking, and it's going to be a great time. So I had a flash drive that I was going to put up there, show you my clinic deal, but I lost it out there when I was gambling a while ago, so I can't do it now. But we'll see you guys June 29th on the island. It's always the last Friday in June, and I hope you guys show up. It'd be awesome. Appreciate it. I did.
Thanks, Brent. Brent's at Los Fresnos High School down there in the Rio Grande Valley. Guys, we were scheduled to have 3 speakers. Coach Foster suffered an injury last week, I believe, and Tuesday. He's a bit sore and couldn't be with us here this afternoon, and we'd love to have him. He's a living legend. And I'm just going to read his bio, guys, because rightfully so, he's earned that right. And I'm going to go ahead and read his bio, okay? Coach Cozell Foster was born and raised in Phillips, Texas, where he graduated from Phillips High School in 1943. Enlisted in the U.S. Marines from 43 to 45 and graduated from West Texas State in 1950. Started his head coaching career at Stinnett, where they won the state championship, and then came to Eagle Pass, followed by stops in Weslaco, Monahans, back to Eagle Pass, Phillips, and then retired in Del Rio. At this point, he retired to the city of Eagle Pass, and then 1991, Coach Oki Villaseñor brought him out of retirement, where he helped lead the Eagles to their first by-district title since 1955. In 1996, he was inducted into the Texas High School Hall of Honor, and in 2011, the football stadium at the Student Activity Center bears his name, Cozell Foster Veterans Memorial Stadium. Coach Foster's been married for 70 years to his wife, Martha, and they have 4 children. The late mayor of Eagle Pass, Chad Foster, Sherry, Sheila, Shelley, 4 grandchildren, and 3 great-grandchildren. I know he's not here, guys, but he certainly deserves a round of applause. Let's give him a hand. This next guy over here, I don't know too well, man, to my left. Coach Oki Villaseñor, born and raised in Eagle Pass, Texas. He graduated from Eagle Pass High School in '68. He ran a 48.6, and that's still the record in the 440. This season, Oki will begin his 45th season as a coach with David Sanchez at Laredo United, and he's been a head coach. He's been a head coach for 30 years at 4 different schools: Laredo Nixon, La Jolla down in the Rio Grande Valley, Laredo LBJ, and Eagle Pass, compiling a record of 171, 125, and 4. He was named Coach of the Year 8 different times and still has the record for the most wins as a head coach in Eagle Pass history. In '93, he led the Eagles to the Bi-District Championship, their first since 1955, won a total of 6 district championships, 9 Bi-District championships, 4 regional championships, and he is married to Leti Villaseñor, have 5 children and 4 grandchildren. Please, round of applause, Oki Villaseñor, man. Coach Mike Honeycutt. Coach Honeycutt has been a head coach at 6 different schools over 21 years. Pflugerville, Westwood, Seguin, Hondo, Clark, and Jefferson. Was elected president of the Texas High School Coaches Association in 1997. Inducted into the Hall of Honor in 2007. He was awarded the Tom Landry Award in 1999. Served on the board of directors from 1993 to 1997. Coach Honeycutt is married to his wife, Cheryl. He has 4 children and 15 grandchildren. Round of applause. Please help me welcome Coach Mike Honeycutt. And as a side note, Coach Honeycutt is entering his 53rd year, man, in coaching. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable. I'm going to start off with Coach Honeycutt. Coach Honeycutt always has some interesting answers, man. So here we go. This is the first interesting question that we're going to ask. What are your feelings on 7-on-7 teams?
I hate it. No, it's good for them, but it's good for them to have something to do in the summer. It's an offensive deal altogether. If you're a defensive player, if you're a defensive player or a defensive coach, if you have defensive ideas, it's, you can't touch them, you can't do anything. They rub every route. But, it's just one of those things we asked for and we got it,
This one is for Okie. How hard was the adjustment of becoming an assistant coach after being a head coach for 30 years?
That's not my question. I didn't write those questions down. At first, it was not hard, but it was different. And David, when David hired me, it was good that I was going to go with David because we were being good buddies. But being accepted by the staff and the way they accepted me and the way things were, I brought things to the table, I think, that helped them, and I learned from them because for 30 years I ran the damn football, and I didn't know one shitting iota about damn spread. I swear to God, and I learned a bunch of stuff being around these guys, and it has been a blessing, really, and I've enjoyed every bit of it. I really have, and every day I go to work, I mean, it's something different, and we get along great, and just being one of the guys, I just, when practice is going on during football season, and I mean, I'm an assistant to the assistant offensive line coach, so hey, I don't have too much responsibility. I'm just looking to see what's going on, and I throw my 2 cents in once in a while, and I forget I'm not a head coach, because now I start ripping somebody. But watching David rip ass on the kids and coaches, I stand back and I'm laughing and said, shit, that used to be me. Or when I walk by his office, he has a parent in there with a kid. I said, shit, I'm laughing again. And said, that used to be me. And when he has to discipline kids for doing this or that, those are the things. I was telling somebody asked me, what do you miss? The don't misses outweigh the misses, believe me. I don't miss much of being a head coach. I'm having the time of my life being an assistant, and I'm still learning. I've been at it this is my 45th year, and I'm still learning. And I learn every day something's going on different. And, I'm glad to be there, and I'm glad to have an impact on our kids and have an input in what we have to do, and I enjoy working. Of course, I tell David, if you rip my ass, you're not going deer hunting this year, so you better not rip my ass.
Thank you. Coach Honeycutt, this question is for you. What was your first reaction when you arrived in Eagle Pass, having just graduated from Sol Ross?
Well, we pulled into Seco Mines out there, and that's kind of a change when you pull in there to Seco Mines and there's nothing. There's goats on the street and stuff like that. But I don't know, after I had been here for a while, I was really impressed. This is one of the best places there is to coach. It was at that time it was hard to win because there's only one winner in the district. But it was a great place. I don't know that I've ever had any more fun anywhere else than we had here. And they probably should have taken our teacher certificate. But it was a great place, and I like it.
Thank you, Coach. This is for Okie. Again, this will be the question for you. What advice would you give to all the assistant coaches in the audience that are here today with us?
Well, every year, we got together, and the number one thing I always talked about was loyalty. You're not going to be loyal to the school. You're not going to be loyal to the school district. You're not going to be loyal to your coaches next to you. You're not going to be loyal to me. You need to get the hell out of here. Like Dante, the late Dante, used to say, if you're not happy here, get happy or get gone. There's Highway 83, there's Highway 277, get gone. And my belief was, hey, let's do it our way and not your way. My dad taught us, and I think I told our kids this, and I still tell them, and I still believe in it. My dad told me one time, because I used to work for my dad. He was a manager of a furniture store for 28 years. And when I was a freshman, he hired me, and he put me in the warehouse. Well, I worked 48 hours a week and gave me $50. God damn it. I said, shit, child labor, what the hell? You know, and then, but he always used to, one day, I remember one day that the Shelby Dinette Company, they delivered 60 dinettes, you know, 4, 6 tables, 6 chairs. He said, all right, put them together. I said, God damn, put them together? Back then it was just a drill, a screwdriver, spit on it, and put the damn backrest on there. You had to put the backrest. So Wednesday afternoon, that was his day off. On Wednesday afternoon, he took off. I said, shit, bullshit. So I started putting them together. About the 20th one, god dang. So some of them were crooked, and, you know, tables were like this and stuff like that. So I put all the good ones to the front. Next day he walks in. He ain't gonna check them. He walks in, and out of the 60, he goes all the way to the one in the back. Come here. Undo all 60 and do it again. If you're gonna do something, do it right or don't do it at all. And I'm telling you this, I'm telling you, you better, and that's what life's all about. If you don't do something, you better do it, don't do it at all. Because my dad was a stern sucker. He lived in Piedras. He was born and raised across the river. In 17, he came over here, started working. He joined the Air Force. He was an MP in Korea, in the Korean War. And, you know, he was a stern man, but he believed in you're going to do it right, or you're not going to do it at all. And that's my belief. And I used to tell the coaches, hey, we're going to do it this way, and this is the way we're going to do it, because you know what? It's all about the kids and not about us.
Thank you. Coach Honeycutt, you know, beginning your 53rd year in the coaching profession, how have you been able to keep up with the changes on the field and the classroom, you know, kids, coaches, parents, administrators? How have you been able to keep that together, Coach, throughout your career and be so successful at what you do?
I've always been very fortunate in getting to work for good people, and they take care of most of the change and all that kind of stuff. As far as dealing with kids, I don't think dealing with kids now is any different than dealing with kids 50 years ago. They just have a few more things to do. They have a few more challenges that, you know, that they face. I'm glad that when I was growing up, we didn't have all this stuff, because I don't see how some of them make it with some of the challenges they got, some of the things they have to go through. But kids are kids, and I think if you treat them right, and you know, and they know that you care about them, I think that they'll respond.
Thank you, Coach. This one's for Oki, and all 3 of your kids are here in attendance. How difficult was it to coach your 3 sons?
It was, coaching my 3 sons was, wow. It was good. I mean, it was a wow. It's a big wow. Yeah, I mean, it was great. I mean, they're all three graduated from different high schools. Rene, my oldest, he's in the audience. They all played different positions. I called him the pit bull because he played tailback and he played strong safety at the same time. And he played Laredo Nixon. And I came to Eagle Pass. I got the Eagle Pass job. And Eric was our quarterback. He was more of he was more meticulous guy. You know, he had to do things right, and he was our quarterback. He led us to the first quarterfinals here in Eagle Pass, and I mean, he was just, he and I could make eye contact, and he knew what I was thinking, he knew what I was thinking, so he run it. Of course, that picture that's up there, there's a story behind it, thanks to Coach Tom Gonzalez over there. He's the head coach of Eagle Pass now. He coached for me, and of course Jimbo and Randy Bermea and a lot of these guys over there that on Eric's staff. CC Wynn played for me, and I'm glad to see them coaching. But there was a story about that. We were playing Corpus Christi Carroll in Bay District, and when that picture came out, my buddy Tom over there, he's my first cousin. And he's married to my wife's sister, so we're related every which way you want to go. He said, "Okie, what was Eric asking you there?" "What are you talking about, Tom? What'd you say or what?" I said, "Is he asking you, hey, Dad, Mom wants the child support. She wants to know when you're going to pay the child support, Dad." But that was just... But anyway, and then my other son, Oki, he graduated from La Jolla, and he was like a happy-go-lucky, he was a receiver. Eric was a quarterback, Rene was a running back, Oki was a receiver. But that guy could catch, he would make catches that were unreal. And he was fast. He's probably our fastest one in the family. Rene he got pissed off the other day. "No, he didn't. Oh, bullshit." Gets all pissed off. But Jimbo and I, we went to La Jolla. Jimbo came down from Rowlett. He joined me at La Jolla. And I went to live with Jimbo. And the story is, when I got the La Jolla job, well, hell, Oki was a sophomore, and he started crying. He didn't want to go to La Jolla. He didn't want to go. I said, "Well, come on, let's go visit with me. I got a meeting with the Soup tomorrow." "All right, I'll go." They got a good stadium, great facilities. The good thing about it, when I got there, the president of the school board was there, the superintendent was there, and the president of the school board, for some reason or other, had 5 cheerleaders there. Says, "We're going to take your son around." The 5 cheerleaders took his son around the whole day, so that I'm coming to La Jolla. But he was a heck of a receiver. All 3 of them, it was great coaching them, but it was weird because when we had a bad practice, they called rides home. They never wanted to ride home with me. But one thing about me, that whatever happened in practice, I didn't take it home with me. When I went inside the house, it was over with. When I left the house, it was time to go to work. And they were great. I mean, we all 3 went to the playoffs every year at school, where they were at. They made all district, all valley, stuff like that, and it was just great. And and then I hired Eric when he got out of UTSA. I hired him at La Jolla, coach for me. He said, "Dad, can I go? I just want to go 3 years, and I'm going to save money and be an attorney. I'm going to be a lawyer." Well, here he is 15 years later, and he does a heck of a job. And I've learned from him a bunch. And I told him this the other day. I told him this before, and I said, "You know what? You're going to be a better coach than I ever was, because the things you do, the way you act." And on my bucket list, Eric played for me. He coached for me. I coached against, when he left La Jolla, came to Eagle Pass. Who do we play in Bay District? Eagle Pass. He was offensive coordinator. When I get the LBJ job, he comes to CC Wynn. We schedule each other. We played, how many times? 3 times. We're 2-1. I'm up on that one. And on my bucket list is for one day come to coach for him. And that will be my complete bucket list there. But it was great. I mean, if you get a chance to coach your son, believe me, 1, good, 2, great, 3, wow.
Thank you. Awesome. You know, 2 years ago, he had a chance to just hang around with us during the playoffs. And that was really fun. And, you know, what time are you going to meet on Sunday? What time are you coming in on Saturday? And this and that. And he goes, what are you going to do? What do they do? How are we going to attack them? And, you know, he started using we. And I love that. And so we beat Corpus Christi Carroll. That was the first playoff win for Wynn High School. Then we beat Laredo Nixon in a dogfight here at home. And then play Richmond Foster. Richmond Foster had some dudes, man. And actually, C.D. Lamb just, you know, tore it up in the Rose Bowl, man, this past year. And I kind of felt good about that because C.D. Lamb he only scored one touchdown against us. But anyway, you know, when the games would start and he was there on the sideline, and I know I'm just a little side note, man, because this really sticks out in my mind that he's up here. I said, what do you think? What do you see? He goes, might want to do this. Check this out. You know, keep this in your back pocket. Save this for 3rd and 1. Might want to look at this for a 2-point play or whatever. And he would just, you know, as the game was going, I'd kind of ease towards him, and he'd give me some feedback. So, you know, I'd lock that in the memory bank, and then we're in the first quarter against Richmond Foster, and they were loaded, man. They were loaded. I said, what do you think? And he goes, get on your knees and pray. Oh, well, we ended up losing, of course, but, you know, those are some memories that you never forget, and those are one of my fondest memories, is having my dad with me on the sideline during that special run. It was fun. Coach Honeycutt, this question's for you. Why did you get into coaching? And outside of your parents, who was your most important mentor along this 53-year ride?
Well, my dad was a coach for a long time, a little bitty school in West Texas. My brother was a coach. And of course, they don't count, I suppose. But Coach Foster was my coach in high school, and he's the one that impressed me. I went to work for him when I graduated from the University of Texas at Alpine. And it was 6 years down here, and it was a real learning experience. We had guys like Bobby Slaughter, Jimmy Turnbow, Larry Dawson, a guy Frank Chisholm was down here, Jerry Sanderlin. They were all really good coaches, and you know, it was a learning experience every day. Now, we had to scout in San Antonio. Everybody, we would go, and so the first thing we did, we got the old white school station wagon. Second thing we did, we stopped at the Holly Bottle Shop. It was right out here on the road, beer, liquor, whatever. But every trip was an adventure. And believe me, we had some before it was all over. But he was the greatest influence on everything that I've done. And I got to work for some great people and with some great people. Marvin Gustafson was a heck of a coach at Uvalde, and Mike Robbins, Mark Reeve, Clay Bodie up there at MacArthur High School. So they were all big influences in what I did.
Thanks, Coach. This is the last round right here. Last set of questions for both of you guys. To Oki, what's your favorite Dos Amigos memory? And some final thoughts after that.
Which one you want? I got like a bunch of those suckers. I'll tell you 3 of them real quick. My wife gone?
You're also on a live feed. Remember that. You're in a live feed right at you.
We're in live feed? Oh, gosh. Can we shut her off? I guess one of them was... Well, I can't say them because I'm live. Well, one of them was Bucky Rodriguez. He coached at McAllen. He came down one year and he was a jogger. He wanted to go jog. I said, well, go out there on Lindy Road, take off. Took off by 9:30. Well, we ate. 11 o'clock, 11:45 was lunch. No Bucky. 12 o'clock, and he was supposed to speak. He was speaking that day. No Bucky. I said, where the hell is he? Somebody go, we got to go find him. Well, he took off at 9:30, and he took off and ran and ran and ran. And 3 or 4 times he passed the Dos Amigos sign, so he started dehydrating. By the time we got to him, he was dehydrated. I said, where you been? I got lost. How can you get lost? Dos Amigos Ranch, right there, Bucky. Dos Amigos Ranch. I said, I don't know. But for 2.5 hours, he was lost. I mean, he took off, and 2.5 hours, he was jogging up and down the Linda Road. If you can imagine. If you've been in a ranch, you know what I'm talking about. And that was okay. But we're alive. Well, I'll tell the Coach Honeycutt story from last year. Thank God he's here. Thanks to Coach Dr. Curtis, and I kind of broke his ribs there. Coach Honeycutt's here last year over there, and all of a sudden, Coach Bush sitting right next to him said, Okie, Honeycutt. Well, he's just sleeping. What the hell? No, he's not. He's sweating. God, I get Honeycutt. He won't wake up. I get my fist, boom, right here. Boom, nothing. Dot. And Hector had just taken off to the ranch. So we get him down, and he, no response. So holy Toledo. Hey, 911, somebody go to the gate, get to the gate, bring the ambulance over here. So anyway, so somebody go over there and get Hector. So the ambulance got there within 10, 15 minutes. The ambulance there, they get him in, and we got Coach Honeycutt on the floor there. Well, Hector comes back, and he's responding. He's already opened up his eyes, and Hector, being the doctor, and he says, you know who your doctor is? Honeycutt opens his eyes, and he goes, you are, fucker. So he's okay. He said, well, we're going to take him to the hospital. So we get him on the gurney, and they're taking him out. And old Randy Reasoner. Where are you, Randy? You still over there in the corner? Oh, there you are. There's Randy right there. Randy, and he's a good friend of Coach's here. He said, Honeycutt, you just fucked up the clinic. He said, you're never going to get invited back again. I'll tell you one more story. We used to go, every Thursday we go across the river. It was 10 years ago. I mean, every Thursday we go across the river, we eat, and go to La La Land. Some would go to La La Land. And it was early afternoon. One afternoon we went across, and Kiff and I were the shuttle people. Kiff and I would be, Kiff was my co-pilot, because from the ranch to La La Land is 41 miles. So I had to go drink coffee every time I got over there, because I was driving back. Anyway, but this certain year, we went to eat, and it was about 6 o'clock, 6:30, we ate. We're coming back home, and 2 coaches said, nah, we ain't going back home. We're not going back home. Well, where you going? We're going La La Land. I'm not going to say the word here. You know what I'm talking about. And he said, you crazy. It's 6:30, 7 o'clock. You going right now? Can you imagine you're going to see them right now during the day? Can you imagine what they look like? They're still asleep, Oh, we're going. All right, you're on your own, buddies, because I ain't taking you. I'm not going today. Take the damn taxi. I'll get you a taxi right now. Well, get us a taxi. I'll get you a taxi. So I got him a taxi. So next day, we're sitting there, and Kiff and I were sitting there drinking coffee there in the big porch there at the ranch. And we were just sitting there about 6:45 in the morning, we're drinking coffee. I said, I wonder if Watkins and tonight. And we're saying, I don't know. Did you see him? I didn't see him. My dad calls me. Said, mijo, Jerry and Tommy get back. I don't know why. Well, at 3:30 in the morning, they called me. They needed a taxi to get back to the ranch. I said, what do you mean? I said, yeah, they walked the bridge. They came across Eagle Pass, 3:30 in the morning, and they couldn't find a taxi. I said, in Eagle Pass, a taxi? There ain't no yellow cabs in Eagle Pass. Private taxis. So my dad called a guy he knew, and he took him to the ranch and dropped him off at the gate. Well, the gate was locked. They had to jump the gate. So we're sitting there, Kiff and I, and we're looking down, you know, when you're sitting there and you're looking toward the gate. And I look and said, Kiff, somebody walking this morning? Somebody go to walk or was exercising this early in the morning? I said, no, it can't be this shit. They're wearing cowboy hats. And they ain't walking too damn fast. They're not walking. And here came, they were just walking in at 6:30. I didn't see them till the next day. That's the best story right there. Because believe me, catching a taxi, I don't know how the hell they understood them over there that they wanted a taxi to the bridge. It cost them like $200 to get to the ranch. So anyway, that was one of the best stories. Final thoughts. Hey guys, this clinic is what it is because of you guys. Really. And I mean, from the bottom of my heart, and Hector, I know, I thank you guys because, you know, this clinic hasn't been successful because it's been successful because of you guys. You guys have made it, and you know, every year it's a different story. Something new happens. There's a new story, and it's great. Just, you know, I look forward to it every year. It kind of kicks off my summer, you know, and I didn't know what was going to happen today. But truly, I was nervous. I really was. But it's a blessing that you guys are here. Coach Honeycutt, you know, Coach Honeycutt coached me in high school. You know, first year out of I was a sophomore, and here comes Coach Honeycutt to be my running back coach. And this guy was a la madre. Oh my God. Black rim glasses, and he was going 100 miles an hour. I said, what the hell? Buddy Holly in town or what the hell? Shit, this guy's crazy. But the reason I'm coaching, because of him and Coach Foster. Because my dad had a vision. And believe me, I told Joe Martin my dad's vision. He had it. My dad had it set already for me. He wanted me to go be a mortician. So my first semester in college, I was in mortuary science until I went to Houston to the when they have all the cadavers, and I said, bullshit, I ain't being no mortician. But my dad had it planned out. Hey, my uncle sold insurance. My mother had a flower shop. Hector the cardiologist, and Okie the mortician. Hey, there's going to be a conglomerate right there in the whole one building. There's going to be everything right there. So you can imagine my dad's vision was that I ain't doing this. I'm going to coach. I want to coach. I don't want to be. So, you know, that's the honest truth, and Hector can vouch for that one, wherever he is. And it was funny. Anyway, hey, I enjoy what I'm doing, and I keep enjoying it. And everybody, when are you going to retire? Why do I want to retire? As long as I'm enjoying it, as long as I can do it, I'm going to do it. And I enjoy coaching with Coach Sanchez and his staff, and you know, just being, and all the coaches that I've been around, Tom and Randy and Jimbo and Aaron Garcia, the head coach at Rio Grande City, and everybody, about building relationships, and you know that. And it's been great. And remember that we have a feast out there at the ranch tonight. you know, we have a bartender, we got tequila, we got bourbon, we got mango margaritas on the rocks, we got frozen margaritas. Just get drunk, enjoy it, tell lies, tell some good stories, even though they're not true. But hey, enjoyed every bit of it and love you guys.
Coach Honeycutt. Coach Honeycutt, some final thoughts.
Well, this has always been a great clinic, always been fun to come to. I need to thank some people because if it wasn't for this clinic, I wouldn't be here. I'd been in that fucking moment of silence. And I ain't looking forward to that. I can tell you that right off. But Bruce Bush and Okie and Dr. Curtis and Hector, or anybody else who walked by and kicked me in the chest, hell, I'm appreciative. It's one of those deals, if I hadn't been here, I probably wouldn't have been around at all, so it's a great deal. But this has always been a fun clinic, and we've always done some stuff that, they wouldn't want to talk about around anybody else. But I think it'll continue to be, and it's mainly because all the people are here. Everybody here is, it's kind of like a big family. You know everybody, and you expect the same guys to come back every year. I appreciate being included on all this. One thing is Coach Martin and Coach Rutledge, all y'all, they've done a great job with the Coaches Association. We're just so appreciative. You can't imagine what the stuff they deal with. If you'll just look at the guy beside of you, they deal with people just like that guy beside you. If you go to a coaching clinic, you put a do not enter sign on the door, there'll be 25 coaches beating on the goddamn door to get in. And once you let them in, they bitch because there's no air conditioning, the lights are off. So it ain't an easy job, and they do a great job. And one thing I just wanted to give you one little bit of advice, and it's worth what it costs you, nothing. Buy that damn insurance. Buy that insurance that you can buy for $45. It'll sure keep your ass out of a lot of hot water.
One more story. Cheryl helped me a lot with the badges. She made the badges for me, but when I called her to get the ad put in the Texas Coach, I asked her, how much is it? And she said, $300. It's usually $300, but I'm going to charge you more. So why? She said, well, if it wasn't for you and your brother, I'd be a rich woman right now.
Thank you, guys. I just want to say on behalf of as we wrap it up, on behalf of the Villaseñor family, I want to thank all of you guys for being here with us on this special occasion, the 25th. We've been working on it since December. You've been driving me nuts, too. But I knew that it was going to come to fruition, and it was going to be a huge success. And I know a lot of you made some efforts to be here, made great efforts coming all over from this great state. And we appreciate Coach Martin, Coach Rutledge, Coach Glenn West for being here, who represent our association, and I think it's the greatest of any kind. And I sincerely appreciate you guys being here. I want to thank everyone for being here. This is we're gonna close it out and move along to the ranch. We're gonna serve dinner there about 7-ish. My Uncle Memo, we brought my Uncle Memo back as a cook, so he's getting dinner ready for us. We will have the shuttle service. Is that correct? And if you guys are going to shuttle, just step on up here and we'll get you guys situated. I know some of y'all are staying here, and we can shuttle you guys back and forth to eliminate any sort of, we don't want any drinking and driving, and we don't want to do it.
If you just graduated high school, are looking to change careers, or to upgrade your job skills, Texas Southmost College is the place to start. With over 50 certificates and associate degrees to choose from, TSC has the career for you. At TSC, you get a quality education that's close to home. earn a certificate or an associate degree, and get the education you need for today and tomorrow's job market.
Wouldn't you like to be in demand?
Register now at Texas Southmost College in Brownsville.